Good morning, traders. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel Elconin. Welcome to Premarket Info. Well, there seems to be nothing to derailing this bull market here this morning as the S&Ps are trading up 250. Not even the Pope resigning is affecting this market. You know the last time a Pope resigned?
When's that?
1415. And I guess he
1450.
cited,
What? What?
yeah, that's the last time a Pope resigned. And I guess he cited listening to the morning broadcast of Pre-Market Info
is
as
that
one of
why?
his primary
Is
reasons.
that why they resigned?
Yeah,
What happened with
yeah.
the exchanges back then for 1415? What did the Dow do then?
I don't. I'll have.
Don't
I'll
you
have to
can't dig
come up
that
with that
data up,
tomorrow.
Joel, from 600 years ago to see what the Dow did? uh,
Okay, the S&Ps are going to be testing a key level today, 1419.50. That's an adjusted high on the futures market going back to October of '07. And then the key number on the downside, 1512 was the overnight low. 1510.50 is my key number before I start looking at the bear side of the market.
yeah, market is quiet here this morning. We're up a couple of points. Not much happening, but GOOG is not doing that well here this morning.
No, I guess Mr. Schmidt is going to dump some stock here.
Yeah, last it was actually Friday night they announced it there that Schmidt's going to be selling 2.5 billion dollars worth of stock. It's about roughly half his holdings here. Interesting that they released this on a Friday night after the close, almost trying to like sneak it in there when they actually this breaks here. But anyway, stock is trading down $5.50 this morning, 779.96. So Google weak here this morning.
Yeah, got to a pre-market low of 778.50. Now, if you guys are looking at the daily, you had Thursday's high at 778.81 and Friday's low at 779.56. So basically, it's just filling the gap that it had from Friday. It got a boost on the upgrade. If it can't hold that pre-market low 778.50, it has a ways to go to down to Thursday's low at 765.50.
What else you got there, Joel?
What else? Well, what's a day without talking about Apple Computer?
Yeah, Apple actually just in the NYSE or just actually just bring up the chart here. I'm doing two things at once for myself. But anyways, they're in the Wall Street Journal, in the New York Times here today. The iWatch they were talking about in the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal has been rumored for some type of iPhone on or wristwatch, and now the New York Times and Wall Street Journal both are discussing that in their articles over the weekend. CNBC guy was actually saying that they probably leaked at Apple to the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times, trying to give a little more pop to the stock that there is products coming out. I mean, this isn't a market moving product here probably, but it's some innovation. Stock's up a couple of bucks here, just on probably those Wall Street Journal, New York Times articles.
Well, that's what they need. They need some new product development. That's a lot of people have been talking about with Apple. But let's dig into the technicals here. We hit a post earnings high Friday at 478.81. Lo and behold, we're bumping up in the pre-market here at that level, 478.50. So let's really focus on that as our major resistance. We're getting that whole gap area from the earnings, and that goes up all the way up to 504. So I don't know if that's going to come into play today. Coming back on the downside, the close 474.98 has not been taken out in the pre-market, so I'll use that as support. Your minor support level, major support at Friday's low around the 470 level. Just moving on, I wanted to mention a couple stocks here in the Big Ten with potential breakouts, Dennis. GE making all these tops around the 2250 area, 2260. Is this the day it breaks out?
It's looking like it's consolidated here for really like the last 7 or 8 trading sessions. A lot of consolidation, like you said, in the 2250 area here. Stock has drifted as high as 2264 from 3 days ago or 4 days ago, and then was 2264 a little bit before that as well. So I don't know if the stock can start to get above 2265, maybe it can make a run for that 23, but very muted action here, really for the last 4 or 5 sessions.
Okay, another old stodgy stock doing the same thing. AT&T finding a lot of trouble here at the 35 and a half level. Multiple tops over there over the last 7, 8 trading sessions. Looks like it's getting a little tired here.
Yeah, T is same thing here. It looks very consolidated here. Stock looking like it should be getting up to that 20, 35, 50 area where it could find more resistance here again, but quiet in AT&T as well.
Okay, and the last one, we'll take a look at Procter and Gamble. Parabolic run here, three highs between 76.42, 76.69. So you are finding some resistance there, as opposed to J&J, which just keeps chugging higher every day. Barron's plays. There's a little skepticism about the shareholders with this Dell deal. Do you think Michael Dell is just going to jam it down the throat? Doesn't seem to be much reaction in the market to this news.
Dell is actually trading just down 2 cents. Obviously, the price has already been determined on the stock, but they were trying to say, and Barron's actually in the sound CNBC too, there's going to be some shareholders that possibly might fight this. So, and there were some shareholders actually saying, some bigger guns that were saying that this stock could be worth as much as $20, and they think they're getting a raw deal here. But I mean, really, are they going to be able to stop this merger or this stock from going private here? Probably not. The market doesn't think so. It's trading only down 2 cents, so it's not like it's trading up here because there's going to be somebody possibly rejecting the deal and they think they're going to get more. I think the deal probably goes through.
Okay, another stock mentioned as a potential mover in Barron's, just chugging along here, is CSX Corp's shifting out of the relying on coal for their transportation, being a little bit more diversified, getting a pop here in the pre-market on the Barron's, so it'd either be a fade or go with it. You do have a high here at 22.67, which may come into play today.
Very it's very quiet here though. Really, they only traded 7,600 shares, but is getting a lift like you said. Barron's often do. You want to look at the top 2 or 3 stocks always that are mentioned in Barron's because they can get a lift here on the Monday after the Barron's articles do come out. And CSX is getting that 1.5% lift from it, but only traded 7,600 shares, so it's pretty quiet.
And your favorite burger joint, Wendy's, they're thinking this stock's finally going to wake up. I thought the most interesting thing was at the end of the article that the new executive at Wendy's was formerly at Yum. And, of course, Yum does not have a burger chain. So that added a little bit fuel to the fire. But this stock, boy, has just gone nowhere for a long time. I did notice it does have a 3% dividend yield, though.
Big move for Wendy's though here, 4.5%. Wendy's is a stock that trades in a nickel or a dime range every day. So for a stock to be up 23 cents of Wendy's on 84,000 shares, that is a big move. It is breaking out over those highs that we've seen, 517, 518, 519. So you're breaking out to a new high on the move here in the pre-market.
What makes you decide what burger joint you're going to? I mean, I know you're probably a
Cheapest
big
ones.
Tim Hortons fan. The cheapest one?
Yeah, pricing
Cheapest ones,
point,
whatever.
pricing point. You know I'm cheap. Anyways,
Okay,
the one thing I have about
earnings.
Wendy's, if you want to go into the burger joint, the value menu on Wendy's does not compare with the value menu on McDonald's. The burgers are smaller and they're more expensive. So I just don't think I've never been interested in owning Wendy's stock from a fundamental perspective because I just don't think they can compete with McDonald's. Obviously, and they've got their own little niche. It's maybe perceived as a bit healthier for whatever reason over McDonald's. It's got their salads, they got their baked potato, they got a little bit of other stuff. But the value menu does not compare. And I walk into a Wendy's maybe once a year. I don't walk into McDonald's very often either. I'm not a huge fast food junkie, but I'd probably walk into a McDonald's at least 4 or 5 times a year. So McDonald's getting 4 or 5 times more business than Wendy's than me.
They are working on their value menu, so
They
grab your
better be.
bearings and take a look at it because they are
Okay.
trying to do that. What kind of a quiet earnings day?
Yeah, very little on earnings here this morning. The only one reporting was Lowe's so far, Al, and it hasn't actually even had a trade here yet. So let's just skip the earnings because there's very quiet. We're actually coming towards the end of earnings season. But there's some key upgrades and downgrades here, Joel. You've
Okay.
got Kroger getting upgraded by Goldman Sachs today. Whenever Goldman does upgrade something, KR, obviously the stock usually moves pretty good. It actually hasn't traded here today yet, though, but it is bid bid up. 28.26, best offers up at 28.54. So interesting. I love this chart. If you look at the daily, last 3 months, stock is breaking out over the $28 area. Just a quiet. It's been a hell of a move really for 2013 for Kroger, down to $25 start the year. You know, when a food stock goes up $3 in a month, then or just over a month, that's a big move for a food stock. But it is breaking out over 28 here again, and maybe Goldman's seen that. They're jumping on the bandwagon.
28.27 was the high on Friday. Looking at the pre-market activity, you said it's bid up. I don't see a trade in that area. I guess you got to go longer term out. There's a weekly, and we still can't find resistance. Let's go to a monthly. Whew! This had a stock trade up at $29 back in 08 is when it traded that level. So no major resistance up to 29. I'll tell you, if I start shopping there, they should get an upgrade. I spent $197 at the grocery store yesterday, and I don't know what the hell I bought.
You got those Kroger cards, though. That's the one downside when you go to Kroger. I don't like it that to get the deals, they make you have the Kroger card or whatever. That's why I always go to Meijer, but that's just my preference. I don't like to have there's too many cards in my wallet all the time. You gotta have this card, this card, this card, so I hate that. So I don't know. Wells Fargo upgraded Stifel Nicholas stock trading up here about 20 cents this morning, 35.06. This stock, you want to talk about consolidation. This has had a ton of consolidation. I remember talking about this. 35.50 has been really the upper end of the range. 34.60 has been the lower end of the range, and we are just stuck trading and just basically between that 80-cent range for the better part of a month and a half now.
Right. Wells Fargo was a part of the Big Ten, dropped out at the end of last quarter, so we haven't been talking about it much. One of Warren Buffett's favorite stocks. I mean, what can you say besides, the 34.50 to 60 area, multiple lows in that area, protecting the gap that you had back from the end of last year. The recent high of the move has been at 35.46. Probably some stock kicking around at 35.5, so that's your major resistance point. I mean, trade the range. It won't go up. It won't go down. So let's just keep on the 34.5 to 35.5 level. If we get above that 35.5 level, nice round number, 36 would be the next play. 35.95 was the high when you head back in October of last year.
Nike gets an upgrade at J.P. Morgan here this morning. Stock is trading up in the pre-market, 55.69, so it's up $1.10 from where it closed on Friday. Stock actually had a double top. If you look 55.52 and 55.57 back on the 24th and the 27th, we are trading above that right now. So it looks like Nike maybe finds a little initial resistance there in the regular session, but could be in breakout mode.
Yeah, definitely doing well on this upgrade. The double top, we are trading above it. A couple thousand shares have traded at this. The stock just keeps on running. The $56 level was a high back last year. You had a 56.15 high on May 11th, so keep an eye on that as your next resistance point.
Tesoro, TSO, upgraded at Bank of America Merrill Lynch. Stock is trading up in the pre-market as well. 54.53 is where it's bid at, but it has traded up to 54.98. This stock has been on a tear, and I mean on a tear. It traded $40 right at the beginning of 2013. We're now trading almost $55. So here's a quiet stock that's rallied 15 points. It's basically 35% in the last month, just over a month. Wow.
Not a lot of volume, though. 54.98 is where it's taken into pre-market. A whopping 628 shares have traded there. What can you say about this stock? You don't want to try and sell it. Maybe move some stops up to Friday's low at 52.46. That'll keep you going. Let's go a little bit longer term. Oh, there's the weekly. God, all these charts look the same. And here's the monthly. So stock's breaking out here. Don't try and sell it. Just maybe move your sell stops up to Friday's low.
Yeah, to find resistance, you'd actually have to go back into 2007, Joel, back when you got back into the $60 area. But this stock has been on a tear. When we bought in the financial crisis, this stock got down to $6.71. That was in 2008. So now it's $53 again. I think the all-time high I've got is $65.98. So We're a ways away from the all-time high, but here's a stock that's basically got 90% of its losses back from the financial crisis. So wow, Tesoro has been on a tear. Um, Really, Schwab is, well, I want to talk about Schwab, SCHW, because it got downgraded to sell at Citigroup here today. Stock is trading down just a bit, 1660 right now, after closing at 1689. So, Citigroup not bullish on
Huh.
Schwab, even though that chart looks pretty good too.
Yeah, I mean they lowered their price target on that and
Valuation.
everything. Wow. I guess they're not a believer here in this run. 1681 was Friday's low. We are trading very close to that in the pre-market. So we've dipped below it. We've dipped below in the pre-market. We've gotten down to 1631. We've had a nice rally since then, trading at 1660. I would use that 1680 as resistance here. You can see that was the low. They might pop it up there, and if they really don't believe in the Citigroup upgrade, we'll probably migrate closer to 17. Once again, the pre-market low at 1631. See if that coincides with anything on the dailies. You did have a low back on the 4th of February at 1635. So the pre-market low provides you with support.
Is there any questions there, Joel, or did you want to finish up and talk about the market here again?
So far, no questions have rolled in. We can just go back to the market here. Just once again, the market just been rolling north. 1517 has been the pre-market high. That is only 2 points above Friday's high. So there's your resistance points. 151950, October 2007 high. We'll reiterate that. And then I don't think you need to look for much action on the downside until you get below 151050.
Well, that's our show for today. Have a great trading session, and we'll be back with you guys tomorrow.